Apple's looking for its iPhone to clean up ahead of the holiday season. It unveiled 4 iPhone 12 models, all with 5G capabilities on Tuesday. The company's itching to get those holding onto an iPhone like me to upgrade. Joining us now to discuss is Dan Ives, Wedbush Managing Director of Equity Research. Dan, good to see you here. Your thoughts on the event yesterday?
I mean, in my opinion, it launches the supercycle. I think it's a once-in-a-decade opportunity for Apple in terms of this upgrade opportunity. I think it's twofold. One, 40% of the install base hasn't upgraded in 3.5 years. And you have a 5G, 4 phones with scatter prices, out there from $699 up to $1,100. And I really view this as the next stage of growth in Cupertino. Cook did not disappoint yesterday.
But is it enough, I guess, to get people out there, spend the money, and upgrade, especially during a time when, a lot of people are out of work right now, Dan?
Yeah, no doubt. $1,000 is a lot more expensive today than it was 6-9 months ago. Look, I think you take a step back. First off, it's 350 million of 950 million iPhones haven't upgraded in 3.5 years. If you look back the last 2 years, that was anywhere from 25 to 28% of the install base. Today, it's 40%. Now, in terms of 5G and the specs here, I think it's enough for 70 to 80% in that window of an upgrade opportunity to ultimately go forward. You could have some fence sitters wait till 5G really gets further into prime time. But to me, it's the most important product cycle since iPhone 6. And I think what it's really going to do is put further gasoline in this iPhone super cycle.
Dan, also didn't point, the CEO of our parent company, Hans Vestberg, Verizon, he was on stage at the event. I know you don't cover the carriers specifically, but what does the 5G iPhone mean to the likes of Verizon, T-Mobile, and AT&T?
Well, I think in particular for Verizon, I think Hans did a great job yesterday. I think it's a renaissance of growth. Over the next, not just 6 months, but 12, 18, 24 months, in terms of what 5G is going to do with millimeter wave technology in the U.S. You've already seen in China. I mean, they're obviously well ahead, and that's where I think 20% of upgrades for Apple come through. But I think in the U.S., this is really going to open the spigots on 5G, especially over the next year. And it's really Apple as opposed to Samsung, which is really going to get, I think, most consumers there.
What about outside the iPhone? What did you hear yesterday that excites you for Apple? And where do you think that next big revenue stream is going to come from?
Yeah, look, for those that have said Apple, they don't innovate, growth's dead. I mean, look where we are today. AirPods is $30 billion annually, and services will be $60 billion. So it's almost $100 billion of incremental revenue. And that's been a key to the re-rating. I think what's really going to happen here, and the important thing we didn't touch on, is that if you look at the iPhone, doesn't come with, wired earpods. I think that's just going to be a further catalyst for AirPods. We think 90 million units this year versus 65 million a year ago. And I think the next sort of innovation will be on the AR. I think over the next year where they release an AR headset, you look at the LiDAR technology, that's going to be key there. But right now, in the near term, the hearts and lungs is going to be about the super cycle and, of course, the services and the re-rating.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Not a lot of folks are talking about this, but the under-the-radar winner here is Corning and this ceramic shield glass. Does Corning have enough of this new glass to supply Apple with?
Yeah, I think supply is not going to be an issue, at least for the initial launch period. That's everything we've seen coming out of Asia as well. Corning is a big winner. You look at that ceramic shield, that's something that could be 10 to 15% of the install base upgrades on that alone in terms of that enhanced technology. That's been a huge pain point. But I don't see any supply issues on the Corning side unless we start to get to a point in March, April, where, supply really starts to get constrained. And that would be a high-class problem given demand.
Dan, what would you say to an individual investor who either is not in Apple, although hard to do if you've got any kind of a mutual fund that mirrors the S&P 500, or has Apple and they're thinking about adding more to their portfolio? Is now the time to do it?
Look, in my opinion, I think I look at a year, it's $150, bull case $175 stock. This is a long-term call, and it's going to be volatile. It could have knee-jerk on different events or different quarters of U.S., China. But I look at it, it's core 5G play. And I still view in the next 2 to 3 years, it's a $3 trillion market cap.
Dan, before I let you go, if there's one thing that could trip up the start of this super cycle, is it just the fact that we are in a recession in this country? There is no stimulus, and it may not be coming anytime soon, and these iPhones are pretty pricey.
Yeah, I think that could trip it up, but ultimately, I think the biggest risk is China, because China's 20% of the upgrades. You saw even during the live stream, many of the video platforms cut access to it in China. That's the key. I think China's the linchpin. The super cycle does not happen without China, but ultimately we're bullish on that. And I think for Cook, this ultimately will go into that Cupertino Hall of Fame as a super cycle.
All right, we'll leave it there. Dan Ives, Wedbush Managing Director of Equity Research. Always good to see you.
Hey investors, Zach Guzman here. Are you interested in learning more about the markets and getting the latest financial news? Well, then click right here to subscribe to our Yahoo Finance YouTube channel. Get the latest up-to-the-minute market analysis, big interviews in the world of finance, and information on how to manage your money every day wherever you are.